Hello, I will be discussing to you RA 4670 or the Magna Carta for Public School Teachers. So ano yung Magna Carta? When you say Magna Carta, it is a document that highlights the specific rights of a specific area or a specific group. So in here, since we focus on public school teachers, so RA 4670 then is a document or a law which highlights the rights of the public school teachers. So ano yung mga rights ng public school teachers? So first one we have here, section 1. It's the declaration of policy. So bakit nga ba may Magna Carta? So first one, it is to improve the social and economic status of public school teachers. Since they represent, or they are the molders of the future generations. They are the fountain of education. Of course, we should also give priority to the situations of the teachers. So, in terms of their employment, are they given opportunity to excel? Are they given opportunity to develop such skills, to attend seminars and the likes? So, ano yung mga living, in terms of living situations, kamusta ba sila? Are they being compensated well in terms of working conditions? Are they not overworked? And so on. So, a lot of stuff. So, that's highlighted in the declaration of policy. So, it sets some limitations, it sets some guidelines on how many hours should a teacher work, what are the privileges that a teacher should enjoy if ever he or she is under certain situations or conditions, and so forth. So we have here, what's the reason again? It's because we needed to attract more people to be in the teaching profession. We wanted to give them opportunity to also see teaching profession positively. So if they will see, maganda pala yung mga benefits ng mga guro and so on, they will be encouraged to pursue education. And also, it's a way of recognizing the vital roles of teachers or essential roles of teachers in nation building. Okay, next, we have here section 2, the declaration or title definition. So, here, again, as what I've said, RA 4670 is also known as the Magna Carta for Public School Teachers. And this is applicable for all public school teachers, regardless of the year level, whether you are elementary public school teacher or secondary public school teacher. So you are covered under Magna Carta. But except those who are in professional staff or staff of state colleges and university. Why? Bakit? It's because they are already covered by CHED. Remember again that basic education from elementary to senior high school, that's under CHED, DepEd. If it is tertiary education, that's under the tertiary education, the undergraduate and graduate school, that's under CHED. And we have your TESDA, that's under the technical skills, that's under TESDA. So, in here also, section 2 elaborates the definition of the term teacher. Ano ba ang ibig sabihin ng salitang teacher? According to RA 4670, teachers are those who are engaged in classroom teaching. Sila yung mga nagtuturo. Kahit ano yung level of instruction mo, whether you are teaching in grade 1, grade 2, senior high school, elementary, secondary, and all. Whether you are full-time or part-time. Also, when you say teachers, sila yung mga guidance counselors. Sila yung mga librarian. Sila yung mga vocational instructors. And they are also those who are supervisors and administrators. So si principal, teacher rin si principal. Si admin, school admin, teacher rin sila according to 4670. Bakit? Because they are facilitators of learning. They guide the teaching and learning process. Okay? However, we have here, it shall not include school nurses. Hindi guro si physician or si doctor. Hindi guro si dentist. And other school employees like janitors, security guards, and the likes. So that is the definition of being a teacher according to RA 4670. Actually, it's just the same with RA 7836. It's just the same with PD 9293. Same lang sila. Okay. Next, we have here the recruitment and career. Paano ang proseso or ano ang mga qualifications for you to be part of the Department of Education family? So we have here all the recruitments process, ano yung mga qualification, sino yung mga evaluators, sino yung magre-rate sa mga possible teachers or mga applicants, that will be determined by the Department of Education. So yung mga guidelines. And we have here, uh, in terms of the minimum educational qualification, here are the qualifications or requirements. If you are an elementary teacher, dapat you are also a graduate or you have a bachelor's degree in elementary education or in early childhood education. So you have ECE or elementary education degree. And we have here for teachers in secondary schools or high school teachers, you must have a degree in education or and its major. So for example, if you are a math teacher, a high school math teacher, expected that you are a graduate of Bachelor of Secondary Education with specialization in mathematics, because again that's your major supposedly. You at least you have there is alignment of the subject matter that you are teaching and also the your undergraduate degree or your background. But if ever you are not an edu graduate, di ka graduate with education degree, you are prof ed, you are prof second courser, so you can still teach. However, it must be with at least 18 professional units in education. So you must have 18 professional units. Like you will take subjects concerning how to become a teacher. So 18 units, the same with other laws. For secondary vocational teachers or those who are handling TLE subjects or specializations in those fields, you must get again 18 units of prof ed subjects. So it means that you must be a master in your field. If you are teaching cookery, at least your undergraduate or your first course is also aligned with that one. Okay, next. For teachers and courses of on the collegiate level, other than vocational, master teachers or master's degree with a specific area of specialization. So college teachers are expected to be MA degree holder, but some schools accept non-MA. However, there is a certain agreement that you should finish it within this time frame, or if ever you will not finish it, you will not be regularized, because some schools or regularization, they really require MA degree for college. So that's why you should, if you want to be regularized in your work in that specific school or institution, you should earn degrees, higher degrees, because the higher the your qualifications is, the higher your salary is. So that's it. So here's a note that you needed to remember. If you wanted to become an elementary teacher, di ka maaaring magturo sa secondary. Pero kung sa secondary teacher ka, maaari kang magturo sa elementary. Bakit? If you're a secondary teacher, there's already an area of specialization. And in elementary, you can apply that one. So, kung si math teacher sa secondary, high school math teacher siya in his or her undergrad, if maaari rin siyang magturo sa elementary math. Okay? Kasi nga, he or she is already major in that specific subject. And there are subjects in elementary, like in grade 4 na, per subject is handled by different teacher. Di na yung one teacher, all subjects na. Okay? So, that's why maaaring magturo si high school kay elementary. Pero di maaaring magturo si elementary kay high school, ideally, according to 4670. Next, probationary period. So when we say probationary period, it means your status is not yet permanent. Your status is not yet final. You are under observation. Depending on the permanency will depend on your what they call this one, on your qualifications, and at the same time your performance. So we have here number one. So when will you be under probationary period? You will be under probationary period if you lack some requirements. Kasi if you are hired kasi in need siya, kaso may mga requirements kang kulang, you will be required by the DepEd to comply those lacking requirement. Example, before there was no examination, board exam. Ang batayan before is the civil service exam. So, pero may ibang nakakapasok sa DepEd noon na pero minimum ano lang siya, minimum instances. Okay, limited instances because there is really a need, greater need during that time. So, if ever nakapasok ka pero may kulang kang requirement, you really need to comply those requirements. Example, kulang ka ng exam, wala kang civil service noon, you're not eligible to uh, take any government position, di ba? Nakuha natin sa civil service sa concept ni Confucianism or ni Confucius, which is again, we have here to work in the public administration or government administration. So we also have here, again, you are under probation if may mga kulang kang requirements. Pero no probationary period if you possess already the civil service eligibility. So if complete yung requirement mo, may civil service eligibility ka, you are not under probationary period. Yung status mo is permanent na. So tenure of service, again as what I have said, if once you get to enter DepEd, that's already permanent. Except kung gusto mo matanggalan ng trabaho. In what way? Violate code of ethics and other laws of teaching. So if there is a serious violation of the mentioned laws, there is possibility that your teaching possession will be revoked and also your license. Maaari kang matanggalan ng lisensya and at the same time your position. So subject to the provisions of section 3, okay, those who are under probationary period noon because they don't have civil service pero nakapag render sila ng service for at least 10 years, continuous 10 years of service with a clear record, maaaring automatically magiging permanent yung status nila. Di na provisional. Next, consent for transportation and expenses. If you will be assigned in a specific school or station, di ka basta-bastang matatanggal or di ka basta-bastang matatransfer. So if ever you will be assigned in Agusan National High School, di ka basta-bastang matatransfer ng sino man sa Puerto Element National High School. Especially if you are not informed or wala yung pahintulot mo. Basta-basta lang. Parang gumising lang sila, na-realize ng principal na, oy, bagay pala si Teacher X doon sa ganito, ganito, ganyan. So, that's a no-no. If there is a transfer, it must be with your consent. If ikaw, matatransfer ka from Agusan to Puerto, dapat alam mo yun. Dapat alam mo kung bakit. There are instances that the school superintendent, will really transfer you. But you will be notified. Sasabihan ka. Bakit possible si transfer? Kasi baka there are lacking teachers in a specific school. Nangangailangan sila. Kailangan ng mga guro doon. Kaya kailangan mo ring i-change yung area of assignment mo. However, if certain transfer is against your prerogative, parang ayaw mo, it means di mo gusto yon kasi nga di ka na informed and ayaw mo talaga, you can appeal to the director of public school. So, pwede kang mag-appeal. Ayaw ko, sir. Dito lang ako ganito. Okay. So, the pending appeal, what will happen is that you will not be transferred. However, uh, the transfer position is not yet permanent. And of course, there must be no transfer within 3 months before any local or national election. Baka kasi transfer ka ng principal kasi doon siya nakatira tapos kailangan niya ng mga votes ng mga people or ayaw niyang ganito and so on. So, that is why you should not be transferred within 3 months. Necessary transfer expenses if you will be transferred to another station, all expenses will be paid by the school or the government. The expenses of your family, needed transfer expenses by the teacher and his family, that should be shouldered by the government. Kasi sila yung dahilan. Next, we have your Section 7, Code of Professional Conduct for Teachers. So, of course, if once you will be given a position, a certain rank, you are also given the copy of Code of Professional Code of Teachers. So it's like a reminder, a set of guidelines for you to remember on how to act professionally, especially your roles as a public school teacher. So individually, each teacher must be given. That's why before you will be assigned to teach in a public school, there is first an oath taking. There is first a gathering of all public school, newly hired public school teachers, and you will talk about this and that. It's like an orientation. But if ever di enough yung copy, at least there must be 3 copies in school, per school. Para if needed the teacher, pwede niya yung gamitin. Next, safeguards in disciplinary procedures. So if ever there will be cases or complaints to be filed against you as a teacher, here are the things that you needed to remember. First one, you have the right to be informed in writing. There must be a letter informing you that there is a case filed against you. What is it about? Who filed it? So, stuff like that. So, basic information. Di yung basta magugulat ka na lang, hinihila ka na ng mga police, papuntang ganito, and so on. There must be a process. As what we were taught in Pol Sci, everything must everybody is innocent unless otherwise proven guilty. And everybody must go through some due process. Okay? So, we have here the right to full access to evidence. So, of course, you needed to know what were the grounds. In what way will you be able to protect yourself, defend yourself? Ano yung mga meron sa kanila na wala ka, charot? Ano yung mga maaari mong gamitin to prove that you are indeed not guilty in the situation? Next, we have here the right to defend himself. Maaari mong i-defend yung self mo. Maaari kang kumuha ng abogado to defend yourself. Or you can also choose the representative chosen by the organization that you are part of. The right to appeal to clearly designated authorities, to people who are really assigned to that specific case. That's why there is a committee under that who will handle that case or kind of situation. And it's the right of the superintendent to really see to it that fair judgment will be given. So while the case is ongoing or while the trial is ongoing, the result or any action will not be made public. Bakit? Kasi madudungisan yung name ni teacher, yung image ni teacher. And what will happen? It will affect the mental health of the teacher and also the way people will see the teaching profession in general. So be careful not to really publicize these issues unless the decision is made final. So we have your administrative charges. What if si teacher nagka-problema kay principal? Paano yan? Sa admin niya. So, you must file a case. You must address it to the committee. Who are these committee? So, we have here superintendent of the division, uh, and other local governments or other representatives. So if ever you will file a case like teacher X versus Cagayan de Oro superintendent, so if ever that you are already targeting the superintendent, then the Department of Education will then specifically with the prerogative of the Secretary of Education will then assign the Director of Public Schools or other person na same ang rank niya kay DepEd Supervised Superintendent. And the result of the trial must be given 30 days after the hearing was finished. Next, no discrimination. Ano man ang lahi mo, ano man ang kulay mo, you are entitled to become a public school teacher. Everybody is given an opportunity to become a public school. So again, Section 10 elaborates no discrimination. So regardless of your color, regardless of the tribe that you're part of, you are entitled to be part of DepEd. So if gusto mong maging public school teacher, go. Wala yung pinipili. So again, whatever the reason might be, if ever you will be hired or you will be terminated from that position, it's only because of professional consideration. Di yun because of other stuff like race, religion, etc. So for married teachers, we have your section 11. So if you are married, you should be you should be assigned in the same locality. So if ever si teacher A, wife niya si teacher B, dapat pareho silang nagtuturo sa Carmen, which is their locality. Not really the same school, but as long as they are in the same locality. So si teacher A nasa Carmen National High School, si teacher B nasa Carmen Integrated School. So that's it. Again, they must be on the same locality. Next, academic freedom. Every teacher is entitled of academic freedom. Walang maaaring magdikta kung ano man yung mga activities na dapat gawin mo inside the classroom. Kasi ikaw mismo mas nakikilala or ikaw mismo ang mas nakakakilala sa mga mag-aaral mo. You know your students more compared to the principal. You know their capacities. You know the areas wherein they are good at. You know when they participate most and a lot more. So that is academic freedom. You have the freedom to enjoy or facilitate the teaching and learning process in whatever way you deem necessary. Next, hours of work and remuneration. So, the initial maximum hours that a teacher is engaged in classroom instruction is 6 hours. Pagtuturo ha, hindi yung nasa school sila. 6 hours lang dapat per day nagtuturo si teacher. Para teachers will be given more time to prepare and correct exercises and other work. So, checking of papers and then the likes. So, 6 hours lang dapat siya yung pagtuturo niya. However, there are also instances na needed mag-extend ng 6 hours. Bakit? Probably, extra load yun. Probably, may maraming mag-aaral ngayon. That's why they have many sections. That's why teachers are really needed also. Pero kulang na mga teachers. That's why some teachers are given extra loads. So, maaari yan. They can render more than 6 hours but not in or not more than 8 hours. More than 6 hours but not more than 8 hours. So, 8 hours lang yung maaari niyang ma-render na maximum. So, if ever this will be the case, babayaran si teacher sa extra hours na ginugol niya sa pagtuturo. And that will be 25% of his basic salary. So that's working hours. 6 hours yung dapat, and yung exceed, yung sobra, is until 8 hours only. And babayaran siya dyan ng 25% of his or her salary. So additional compensation, what if the teacher, aside from teaching, ay may other roles? Like for example, siya rin ay trainer uh, ng isang club for competitions. What if the teacher is also the head of like a certain club, the SSG, or the band and bugle? So that is also extra payment because that's beyond the duty of a teacher, which is to teach, or the teaching hours. And that is 25%, at least 25% of his regular remuneration. Next, in case of the teacher is not engaged in teaching, may mga ibang guro kasi na hindi sila nagtuturo. Wala silang teaching load kasi may iba silang role. Like for example, you are a librarian. You are the TLE head and so on. But if you will also exceed within your duty hours because may mga tasks na binigay sa'yo aside from your rank or duty in that position, you will also receive at least 25% of your regular remuneration, yung binabayad sa'yo. But if the teachers service are required, like during examination sa civil service, kailangan sila ng mga proctor. Sa PRC, kailangan ng mga proctor. During election, kailangan ng mga proctor ba yung tawag yan? Kailangan ng mga service and teachers. Teachers are also paid, but not by DepEd. Di na sila paid under DepEd. They will be paid by the agency which utilized their service. So during election, ang mga nagbabayad sa teachers sa service nila is from COMELEC. Next, criteria of salaries. Again, the salaries given to the teachers are also something which is at par with others. So dapat teachers will feel na binabayaran sila ng tama. So paano yun? They shall be paired in comparison, or dapat pareho yung binabayad sa kanila, at least pareho or equal or favor yung binabayad sa kanila or yung salary nila sa mga professions also na nagre-require ng same requirements from the teachers, like training and others. They should also ensure that teachers are reasonable standard of life for themselves and their families. Dapat yung salary rin ng teachers ay nakakabuhay. Nakakabuhay ng pamilya. Nakakapagbigay ng food for the family, enough to sustain the living of the family of the teachers. So that's why many teachers now are calling for increase in salary. And they should also be graded according to certain criteria. As what I've said, ang salary grade ng any government official or any government personnel is dependent on a certain salary grade set by the government. So example, salary grade 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, may equivalent per level or grade, may equivalent amount siya. So, and also your position or salary grade will be dependent on your position and at the same time your qualification. So the higher you are qualified, the higher the salary grade that you will receive. And the higher the salary grade, the higher the salary. Okay? So next, we have your salary scale. Whenever there will be a salary increase of a teacher, it will be given within fully by 3 years. So ano ibig sabihin yan? So example, nangako sila na there will be 3K salary increase for the teacher. Di siya mabibigay na buo. 3K will be divided into 3. Tatlong bigayan yan. So for example, let's say for example magsta-start yan ng 2021. In 2021, the 20K salary of the teacher will become 21K because added 20K. In 2022, it will become 22K. In 2023, it will become 23K. So, every year, may nadadagdag na 1K to make it 3K because it will be granted 3 years for 3 years. And it will be dependent on the satisfactory level of grade also of the teacher. That's why if you happen to observe, busy sila. Busy sila sa paggawa ng portfolio nila. Kasi yung portfolio rin ang basihan ng performance rating nila. Equality in salary scales. Every city and municipality sometimes they differ in terms of salary grade or salary. Bakit? Kasi iba yung level ng pamumuhay, iba yung mga demands, iba yung presyo ng mga bilihin. So expect na si Cagayan de Oro City, depending on the status of the Cagayan de Oro City, the income of Cagayan de Oro City and other pol-sci stuff, it will be different from the salary, the basic salary that the teachers from the national government are receiving. Kasi mas mahal yung bilihin nila doon compared dito. If you're from a municipality, of course, it is different from those in the city. Again, it will depend on the kita ng isang lugar and other POSI matters. Actually, nasa POSI yan. So, the point there is that because of some factors like the differences in terms of prices of commodities and cost of living, one way or another, the Department of Education should give extra payment para maging at par pa rin or the same pa rin yung salaries ng mga teachers sa anumang lugar. So, paano yan? First, we have here the cost of living allowance. As what I have said, may mga lugar na sobrang gastos kasi napakataas ng kanilang mga bilihin. So automatically the DepEd, with the approval of the president or with the recommendation of the Secretary of Education and approval of the president, they will receive cost of living allowance. Especially if you will be under the what I call this one, the national government. And sometimes ang nagbibigay dito ay yung mga LGUs or the local governments. May mga allowance rin na binibigay sa local government. So what if you will be assigned in areas wherein it's very difficult to commute or mahirap pumunta sa lugar na yan? So that is you are required a special hardship allowances. Special hardship allowances are given or equivalent to at least 25% of your monthly salary. So if ever you are a mobile teacher of ALS, Alternative Learning System, delikado yung pupuntahan mo, mga bulubundukin, mga sapa, or whatever, wherever you will be assigned, as long as it will be determined na mahirap, there is hazard, you are entitled of the special hardship allowance. Salaries to be paid in legal tender. So it means that the salary of the Department of Education teachers are given through accredited banks. So yung mga napagkakatiwalaan. So for na, as what I have observed in Cagayan de Oro City, DepEd's way of paying is through DBP or the Development Bank of the Philippines. If there will be cash, not cash, checks rather, dapat yung check na yun is mai-encash, turned into cash in the municipality or provincial government office. Deductions are prohibited. So, if may utang ka, di sila basta-basta nakakadeduct ng sweldo mo. Di yan immediately. Like for example, if umutang ka sa kapitbahay mo, your kapitbahay cannot demand na i-deduct yan sa sweldo mo. It's bawal. It's not stated in the law. Unless if you will have a consent. If you will give consent, a written authority na maaari nilang bawasan yung utang mo kay Aling Nena. Lawful dues and fees owing to the Public School Teachers Association, yung mga, anong tawag dito, yung uh, ano ba to? Yung registration fee mo, membership fee mo, and so on. Premiums properly due to insurance. So, yung mga SSS, pag-ibig. So, those are just legal deductions to be made. But aside from those, unless you will give written authority, they don't have right to demand deductions. So, health measures and injury benefits, of course, sinisigurado rin natin na the health of our teachers are well taken care of. That's why in Section 22, it is emphasized there that at least once a year, not less than once a year, teachers will go through some medical examinations. I guess not only in public school, but even in private, or not only in education, but all, what they call this one, all jobs. They really some require, what they call this, require medical examinations and treatments. So if ever during the medical examination a disease, you will be found out to be something which needed to be treated or need for hospitalization, you will be provided free by the government. Okay? So free yan, babayaran yan ng DepEd. So if ever needed kang gamutin sa ibang area kasi wala yung mga facilities sa area mo, whatever the expenses are, the traveling expenses are, the government also will cover that one. That's part of the coverage for free, which is free given by the government. So compensation of injuries. What if during your duty hours, bigla kang natapilok at nagkasugat or whatever, or during the process or your term as a teacher, you had some injury. So of course you will also be compensated. And that is under occupational disease. So leave and retirement benefits. So paano yan? What if you wanted to study and proceed to master's degree or doctoral degree? So you are entitled a study leave for a year if nakapag-render ka na ng at least 7 years in service. Kung nakapagturo ka na ng 7 years, maaari kang mag-avail ng study leave for a year. And during that study leave, you're still receiving at least 60% of your monthly salary. Kahit na estudyante estudyante yung position mo or role mo during that time kasi nga leave ka, you are still receiving 60% of your monthly salary. Provided that di ka lumagpas ng 1 year. Kasi 1 year lang yung validity ng study leave. If ever, needed pa talaga mag-extend ng 1 year kasi di pa tapos yung thesis or dissertation mo, you may do so if it is approved by the Secretary of Education. Pero, di ka na magre-receive ng salary. Wala ka ng sweldo if it's more than 1 year. Okay? And if you are in the study leave, you must be full loaded with your subject that you are studying. And you must pass 70%, 75% per subject. So, yung grado mo dapat 75 pataas. Indefinite leave. What if nagkasakit ka and the treatment requires a year or more than a year or less than that? Di mo alam kailan. So, you are entitled of indefinite leave. But still, you will receive your salary. Next, we have your salary upon retirement. So, what if magre-retire ka na, umabot ka na sa 65 years old, na kailangan na mag-retire? So, paano yan? Ano ang basis for your retirement fee? So, if ever your current salary is 20K, let's say for example, grade 10 yan. Next grade 11 is 30K. According to the Magna Carta of Public School Teacher, if you will hire, the basis of your retirement fee must be salary grade higher. So if this is your current, ang basihan ng retirement fee mo is 30K. And we have your teachers organization. You have the freedom to organize. You have the freedom and right to freely choose and establish your own organization. Whether it's national or local, as long as hindi yan nakakasama sa'yo, di mo dinugdungisan yung pangalan and image of becoming a teacher. There must be no discrimination against teacher. Again, anumang lahi, anumang kulay, whatever tribe you are part of, whatever your name is, whatever your family name is, whatever your social status is, there must be no discrimination. Wala kang karapatan i-discriminate si teacher or sino mang guro. And that's it. National Teachers Organization, you are free to choose and join national organizations. We have your PAFTE for the formulation or updates for the policies, national policies governing social security of teachers. And that's it. These remaining sections are already understandable. That's all for today.